Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pink Shade. It's Tuesday. I'm here with my girl, Kimberly, award-winning Oscar, Emmy, EGOT winner,
Yeah.
Kimberly of A Date with Dateline podcast to discuss 90 Day Happily Ever After.
I'm not quite the EGOT yet, but I will be. I'm going to get a tattoo for each award I get. And right now it's just
C.
Yeah.
C. Okay.
Yeah.
And then
Very sad.
if you fall from grace and you get canceled, you could just make that C like into a heart.
Exactly. flower over it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You can make it into an S since you're a Swiftie.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. I have some announcements to start off. Everybody remember here on the Tuesday episode with the July 2nd episode here on the free feed, we are going to be
I have
covering.
not gotten any free food from you.
I'm going to tell you something right now. Soft plug. June 21st is National Smoothie Day. Head on over to Tropical Smoothie.
There we go.
You get a free smoothie, but you got to buy something. I recommend the turkey bacon ranch or the Southwest Bowl. Okay. So that I really didn't plan that, but really that is true. And I'm going to do it because last time on like flip-flop day, I forgot. So starting July 2nd here, we are going to cover the new season of 90 Day the Other Way. Okay. That will be here starting July 2nd. That episode will air Monday, July 1st. It'll be here July 2nd. And HEA, I'll still cover it, but I'm going to put it over there on Pink Shade Prime at the $5 level. I'll be covering that over there along with 90 Day UK. And very soon, the best show ever to come on television. I don't work for them, but I should. Welcome to Plathville.
Oh, man.
So good. And you guys, if you are into Plathville and you want to go listen to every single episode of every single season, head over to Pink Shade Prime. That is on the $5 level. You should just be able to look up Plathville and all the episodes come up. But I think Ingrid's over there working on the collection where you could just click the collection and they should all be there. For people that are interested in the backstory of Plathville. And
is this going to cover Olivia and Ethan's like demise or
divorce? We've already seen the demise. We've seen the demise, and now we're going to see the divorce.
Demise for several years, so it's been ongoing. I can't wait for like her hot girl summer era because I think that's right now. I think we're living it on Instagram.
It's currently on Instagram. I mean, she's out there promoting vibrators. I mean, girl,
I love her. God.
Love it. Go, girl.
Good for her.
Love it. She lives there in LA. She's living her hot girl summer in LA.
I want to be friends with her.
I think she would love to be friends with you.
I don't think so.
Okay.
She's young and hip.
That's true. Let me tell you, I could tell you what her birthday is. I have it right here. Let's see. Ethan, Hosanna, Micah, Mariah, Olivia. Her birthday is April 28th, 1998.
98?
1998.
Oh, that hurts.
She was 2 when I got married. Okay. So, all right. So also another announcement. Yesterday, I did Inmate to Roommate with Keisha. Okay. So that's replacing Love After Lockup for now because it's off.
Oh, my
And so Love After Lockup will come back in July. But for now, Keisha and I are covering Inmate to Roommate. That video is on YouTube right now. And we're going to cover that until it comes back in July. Inmate to Roommate is on A&E on Thursday nights. And if you miss it, you can get it over there on the A&E app or on Hulu for free.
Last season, there was that weird married couple. And that was so creepy. And they basically
Shauna.
They brought in that single guy, and he was getting weird vibes because every time he looked up, the wife was like staring at him
and wearing her yoga pants. Remember, he's like, "And you're in your yoga pants. I know what you're doing, girl." And then the husband looked like a Death Eater. He was like, Yeah.
It was so creepy.
Yeah. Season 1 of Inmate to Roommate, we also covered that. I believe we covered that over on Prime, but we're covering this season over on the free feed because Love After Lockup's gone. And I hear tell from Keisha that you will be headed over to her podcast to discuss Mama June again.
Oh, great.
Yeah. She said you might do like an end of season wrap up.
Oh, yeah, I would anytime. I would love to. And I had totally forgot that Katie was into it. So Katie will want to come on too.
Okay. And then she said another show that you also liked that she likes. I was like, does Kimberly watch that too? She was like, she does. I can't remember what it was.
I'll go on Keisha's show anytime. She's hilarious.
She's so funny. Okay, another
And I get to be
plug.
really mean about Mama June because she's universally hated,
Right.
you know? Like,
Mhm.
Big Ed, I can be as
Yeah.
he's universally hated as well.
Right,
So
right, 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 right. Agree. And Akeisha will go there.
mhm.
And many times I have to rein her in. There's many cuts that are made with Keisha. She's like, I shouldn't have said that. I'm like, no, girl, I'm gonna have to cut that out. But she's so funny. Another great episode over on Prime with Deanna is MILF Manor. This episode that came out on Monday, and it's also on YouTube if you're a Prime member on that level, $10. I read in real time some DMs with Lynette. I sent her a DM right before we started. She started DMing me back, and I was like, "Can I read this on the podcast? I'm live on the air." And she goes, "Absolutely, LOL." And when I tell you, she got into it about her feelings on some of these other cast members,
I love it.
and it's juicy. It's
Oh, I
juicy.
love it.
It's literally worth joining even just for that episode. It's so good.
Wow.
And then also, if you like Kimberly in your life, and I know you do, there's a new show on TLC on July 1st. It's called Forbidden Love, and it's about different people of different religions coming together. It's a very 90-day-ish, but strictly mostly talking about the religion. And I figure, I'm a Christian lady, you're a Jewish lady. Who better two ladies than to discuss?
I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be fun. Maybe some Jews, maybe." And then you sent me the trailer. There's an
Yeah.
Amish guy
Yeah. An Amish guy.
and a
Try
worldly lady. This is gonna be juicy.
How did they meet? Did they meet selling their butter products at the market?
I don't know, but when I was in Nashville, I saw a large group of Amish people at the airport, and I was very confused. So,
That is
Amish people
confusing.
must be allowed to travel for certain things.
Yeah, I wonder if it's like a funeral or what if they're like on that TLC show and they had to fly to do press?
Maybe.
I mean,
Although I would have recognized if it was any of them. If
you
it
would.
was
I've never
oh,
watched
I've
those shows.
yeah, I've seen every episode. Embarrassed
Okay.
to
Okay.
say.
Probably Keisha probably watches that too.
Yeah.
Um, so that's Forbidden Love. We're going to be covering it on the $10 level. I'll be covering it with Kimberly. That will go on Prime on Mondays starting July 22nd because it airs July 21st. I'm trying to get my episodes a little closer to when they air, but it doesn't always work, especially with Bravo because Real Housewives of OC is coming up. That comes out on Thursday nights, and I normally put in my episode on Thursday morning. So it'll be week old news when I put them
We're
in.
always week old news, so you're doing just fine.
I know. I know. A lot of other people like get it out like midnight
Well,
that night after the
Jen
episode
and
airs. I'm
Ronnie
like,
are just I
oh
don't know
well,
how they
but
do
they
it.
also get all the screeners 2 weeks
Exactly.
before, so they can pre-record.
Mhm.
Okay, guys, that's it. Later this week, Keisha and I will be covering Bravo. We'll be covering Real Housewives of New Jersey. She's got some real opinions. So, as we said, what's going over there? I'm sorry for that 8 minutes of announcements, but I had a lot to
I love
say.
it.
Yeah. So, what's going on over there on Dateline World? What episode should I watch this week? Because I think I have two on my DVR.
Um,
Put her on the spot, guys.
I forgot. Oh, we're doing an old episode called a mystery in Orange County. I've been really
Mystery.
since I'm moving to Orange County, back to my homeland of
Yes.
Orange County. I have been obsessed with Orange County crimes, and
Okay.
Dateline has been giving us some really sad new episodes with a lot of things that we do not like to talk about. So
Yeah.
it's too heavy for us. So we tend to skip those. All murder is heavy, but there are some that are just horrific, and we won't do that.
You should chat with Kate Casey once you get back over to Orange County and have a chat with her about an OC crime. She loves to talk about OC crimes.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
All
yeah,
right.
I haven't talked to her in a long time. We were
Yeah.
on her show so many years ago talking about the first season of Selling Sunset.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
She likes to talk about that too. Selling Sunset, selling LA, selling whatever Mauricio's show on Netflix. I don't know. I don't watch any of those shows. I don't have time.
It's too much. Yeah.
Don't have time.
And we also had Andrea Canning on a week or two
I
ago. That
know.
was very exciting.
Very exciting. I have saved that episode on my phone so I don't forget, so it doesn't like drop down far enough so I don't see it.
Yeah,
I
it's very fun. And we put the video on our Patreon.
Oh, nice. Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And you said you're also doing like a live feed about the Karen Reed trial?
Yes, for Patreon, Katie and Jake are doing that. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we're
All right.
trying. I don't know how regular it's going to be. We're not as official as some of these real YouTubers, the
Mhm.
law tubers. Is that a phrase? Did
I
I
don't
just coin it?
I don't know what it means, but yeah.
The law people, like Emily D. Baker.
I
The
thought you
law
meant I thought you were saying law, like LA, like la la la, not law.
law,
Law with the W, law.
the law tubers.
Law tubers. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I've told you guys to listen to Jody and Weber's podcast. She's covering it, and it's really great. I tried to explain the case to my daughter today, and I was like, "Whatever," and she was like, "Well, what do you think?" I go, "I really don't know. I really don't know because there were 2 pieces of taillight, and then there were 56. Why? Where did they come from? And there's 40 minutes of evidence, Sally Port missing when the 2 cops were standing behind the car, and then 42 minutes disappeared of tape." Where they were obviously taking pieces of the taillight to go scatter in the yard? I mean, like,
I don't know. I'm not really following it, but my question is, did you know what a Sally port was before this?
I still don't know. Every time she says Sally Port, my understanding from the context clues is the car drives in and that's where they do the investigation on the car.
I think so. It's some sort of like there's an entrance. I don't know. But
Yeah.
when we did our live stream, we had a very good, like, Sally Port would be a great drag queen's name. I'm going to name my next cat Sally Port. Sally Port. It sounds like a 1920s silent movie star to me.
It does. Yes, yes. Yeah. This is Sally Port and her husband Hector Port. Yeah. Yeah, because it says like when you walk into the Sally Port, the cameras are motion activated. So they catch like 20 minutes and then they walk around to the back of the car, 42 minutes go missing, and then they catch him again walking back up to the front of the car. This 42 minutes when they were in the back of the car. And they said, well, the camera's motion activated. And like, did you go stand behind the car and then stand stock still for 42 minutes? Is that what happened? So the
Yeah,
motion
did you
wasn't out.
become
I
a
mean,
mannequin? Mhm.
and then the throwing away of the phones, and then so much drinking and driving in the squad cars. Like it's calling of the person that you're investigating. I see you next Tuesday.
Yeah.
Crazy. Crazy. Wipe off the police force. Start over.
I only saw what Katie and Jake were talking about, and I was like, "Oh, I could get really into this." But it's like if it's I'm moving right now. I have enough going on. This would take over my whole life. This is so salacious
Yeah.
and but it's also infuriating. It's just so shady. It's
Yeah.
shade upon shade. It's so suspicious. Everything is super sus.
Everything. And so I would say this is what I would do if I was moving. I would just put I would go to Jody's Patreon. I would find the first episode where she talked about Karen Reed. I can ask her and then just let them roll
Yeah.
as you're
And then
packing. And then
learn
you'll be totally
something.
caught up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys. 13 minutes in. Let's do this. 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Season 8, Episode 14, Malice in Wonderland.
Again,
good.
could apply to everyone.
Yeah, but that's a really good title.
Yeah, it is.
It's a really good title.
Great.
Let's start
Because
with
it's actually a title and they've just added a letter to it. There's
yes.
no like fancy, oh, that's a stretch. No, it literally has the actual title in it.
I mean,
It's
the
just added the M.
Humpty Dumpty one was great.
Yeah, that was the best.
That was good. Over on MILF Manor, they're doing the same thing with the titles. They're doing 80s movie titles. So they're doing like MILF Struck. Like MILF's just not that into you. Like
That
the
seems
one
like a stretch.
the one this week was MILFless. And we're like, is that Clueless? Is that Ruthless? What movie is that? MILFless.
Yeah, you can't even tell.
We couldn't even tell. We spent 5 minutes trying to figure it out.
Hmm.
All right, by the way, I have a request out to interview a producer of MILF Manor.
Yay. Then
Yeah.
you can ask. Here's the real important question.
Who's in charge of these titles?
Yeah.
Who's in charge of these disgusting games? He needs a citizen's arrest, in the words of Deanna. Deanna's always doing a citizen's arrest. She's like, citizen's arrest, lock them up.
Yeah.
They don't deserve to be around.
I want to know what the meeting was like when they completed season 1. They, I'm sure, did not think it was going to be as big of a hit, and they had to somehow up the game. You had to up the ante, top them. What was that pitch meeting like? Did they just get very high and just throw out ideas? And then it was like, okay, dads and sons are competing.
By the way, what I would like to know is because it's going to be 14 episodes. So I was like, was it going to be 10? But once they got in there and all these grown men, the dads, Every episode, somebody's crying. The men. Every episode, there's a man crying. And they couldn't have predicted that.
Mm-mm.
That these guys would be like, I'm just so touched that you trust me. And one guy cried about my divorce. I never got over it. I mean, people just crying about their divorces and their love for these people. And so got in the hot tub and that hurt my feelings. I mean, it's just crazy. People are crying every week. And it's always the men above age 50.
That's crazy.
Yes, I know. No women. Well, Lynette's crying and that's not cool. Okay. Let's talk about season 8, episode 14, Malice in Wonderland, Sophie and Rob. So Sophie and her mom are at a diner and they're in LA. And do people in LA not
They're in
know
LA? No, aren't they in Austin?
I'm so sorry. I just looked at the word LA because that's where they were from. And I didn't look at the next line, but it said Austin. You're correct. They're in Austin. So my question is even more pertinent.
Right.
Why do people in Austin not know what grits are and that they're not made with eggs?
That was
Shocking.
that's even more shocking to me than Big Ed's behavior. When that waitress said eggs, even I've never had grits. I don't go to this. I've never had. I know they're not eggs. Did I know it was corn? Not really. I knew it was some sort of grain. But
it's a cornmeal grain kind of a situation. Yeah.
But like I knew it wasn't eggs.
It was so weird. I was like, she literally started yesterday, that waitress, and they put her on camera because she was the cutest or something. I don't know.
But did she not grow up there? Just I guess maybe not everyone in the South knows, but that's embarrassing. That diner is embarrassed.
By the way,
and she's ashamed to her family.
Grits are delicious. You just got to get butter and cheese on there. Don't eat a plain grit. I mean, I would eat a plain grit, but I wouldn't want to. You got to do
sugar in it?
No.
See, didn't she say sugar and eggs?
Yeah, she did it. No ingredient that she listed was in it. Grits are good. You just got to make sure they have enough butter or enough cheese. My mom makes really good cheese grits. So not anymore, but back in her day. So the mom orders grits and they're like, what is this? What is that? What is this sausage? What is this? And then mom goes like, I don't like the grits. And they're not sure about the sausage because it's like cylindrical or flat or something. And Sophie says,
it looks like a link.
It was like a link. And she was like, where we are they flat patties where they are? But they have link sausage in England.
I didn't understand that either.
Sophie says the grits taste like jail food. And I just said, girl, you need some butter and cheese.
Yeah.
Everything's better with butter and cheese.
Yeah. I think she meant it looks like jail food. I'm sure it looks like slop.
It does.
They would put in a prison movie.
Yes, it looks
80s.
like porridge.
Yeah.
Yes. So it tastes like jail food. I was like, have you been to jail, Sophie? Is this going to be another turn we're about to take? So Rob is texting her like kind of nonstop. And she's like, since they had that argument, he really wants her to come home. But he's insisting that her mom is to blame for everything. And she's like, but she was too hard on him. But she's just trying to be a good parent. But I want him to apologize for making her cry. She's so torn. It's so awful what her mother has done to her. I mean, he's not a great guy. We can all agree he's not a great guy. But this is not all her mother's fault at all.
This poor girl has been put in the middle this whole time. I do think that fight in particular was much more Claire's fault than Rob's.
Yes.
And the mom crying was very manipulative.
Yes.
I don't think he needs to apologize for that fight, in my opinion. But I do think he's a piece of trash. It's not like I'm a Rob apologist here.
I'm not a Rob apologist, but I wouldn't go so far as to say piece of trash.
Well.
Okay. So she wants Rob to at least apologize for making her cry, which, by the way, I think she made herself cry. I think she pinched herself real hard under the table. Or she purposely twisted her ankle that hurt.
Yeah, she tightened that boot.
And mom says, Rob was awful last night. Are you willing to walk away with me and go back to London? And she's like, no. And Sophie says, look, I'm not making any decisions right at this minute. Like, and if I did go back, I would, stay with a friend and I would get a job. And mom goes, we could live together. She's like, no, absolutely fucking not.
She's like pitching her own sitcom.
She's also like,
Matt Sharp, are you listening?
And will you pay for it? And so she goes, listen, Mom, I'm not thinking of leaving Rob anyway. And Claire says, well, I don't think you should move back with him. And she goes, I'm just going to stay with Kay for a few days, but I got to grab some clothes and I got to let him know what I'm doing, but I can just hear the lecture coming. And it's going to be, she goes, it's going to be, why are you running away from your problems? Mew, mew, mew. She said, mew, mew, mew. Which reminds me of my friends Brandy and Julie, because Brandy calls Julie meow meow. Because whenever Julie says something, she'll go, and I don't know. And then that happened, and meow, 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 meow. So funny. So, mew, mew, mew. And Mom says, well, don't you think if I come with you, he won't lecture? And Sophie goes, yeah.
What?
And then maybe he'll apologize to you. None of that's going to happen.
When has Claire being there ever made things better in the situation?
I mean, so Mom says, Sophie makes good decisions in her life, but with Rob is her Achilles heel, and she always makes bad decisions about Rob.
That's true.
It's true. And Sophie says she does love Rob, but she does have to stop running at some point and weigh the pros and cons and make a decision. But I say again, in this particular case, he was not wrong. And he did not make Claire cry.
No.
No.
But she does need to decide. This is every week, back and forth, back and forth. She's stretching this out the whole season. Just make up your mind, Sophie.
This all could have happened in 3 weeks' time, and they're
100.
just milking it out. I don't know.
Like Nicole and Mahmoud, we don't know what's happening with them, and we don't miss them. They're wandering around LA. We don't even know if he's here. What? We don't care.
They are still on the show, but that's all we know.
That's all we know.
That's it. That's all we know. Support for today's episode comes from Honey Love. Honey Love has revolutionized the bra game. Say goodbye to underwear without sacrificing lift. Honey Love's bras feature supportive bonding that eliminates the need for uncomfortable wires. Honey Love offers a wide range of sizes and caters to the diverse needs of all women. So those of us with small boobs finally have a bra that doesn't keep her riding up or need to be pulled down. And those of us, that's me, with bigger boobs can finally have a bra that is supportive and comfortable. Plus, they're made with a fabric that's so soft you'll forget you're wearing it for real. It's time to spring clean your bra drawer. For a limited time only, you can get Honey Love on sale. Get 20% off your entire order with our exclusive link, honeylove.com/pinkshade. Support our show and check out honeylove.com/pinkshade. You guys, you know how I feel about bras, and during the pandemic, I stopped wearing a real bra altogether. I only was wearing those flimsy sleeping bras. So I'm happy to tell you guys that with Honey Love, I have found a bra that will do both. I can wear it all day, has support, doesn't look like I'm wearing my pajamas, and also I could sleep in it if I wanted to because it is just that comfortable. I'm telling you guys, you need to check it out. So Honey Love is not just supporting women, it's empowering women. Treat yourself to the best bras on the market and save 20% off at honeylove.com/pinkshade. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off, honeylove.com/pinkshade, to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and say Pink Shade sent you. Honeys, you deserve this. Free the pain and discomfort and keep the support with Honey Love. Okay. So now she and her mom are in their equally bad outfits. Did you notice the bad outfits? Terrible.
I kept saying Claire needed to apologize for that top that she's wearing. To my eyes.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It made no sense.
Mm-mm.
It had pull on sleeve. I don't know. It's
No.
just, don't shop at Temu or Shein, ladies. Although I have done that.
She's trying to be Sophie. I think she wants people to go, oh, Sophie, is this your sister? I think that's what she wants to happen.
Not even close, girl. So, her mom's got crutches trying to go up the stairs, and Sophie's like, oh, I didn't even think about the stairs. So she walks in with her mom, and he's like, she's got a lot of nerve after all she's done to insult me. And I don't think we're ever going to get better if this woman is around saying that I'm stealing Sophie's sparkle or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he's right. They're never going to be able to work on their issues when Claire is in it.
Yeah.
Because Sophie can't think for herself. I mean, she is so young. She came from that bad situation into this bad situation.
And she's very codependent on her mom, on Rob, on
Kay.
Following her mom's bad choices in men. It's all she just needs Sophie time and therapy time.
I agree.
I will say I'm very hard on Claire, But I'm not a mom, but I would imagine this is very devastating to watch your daughter be like emotionally abused by this
Mm,
jerk face that you
mhm.
hate, but
Yeah.
like you are making it worse. And
Mhm. Mhm.
she's also emotionally abused by you, I think. So,
Yeah, all of that. I don't know if you can hear the ice cream man, I think, like, pulled up behind my house and stopped.
oh.
It's, like, right behind the house. I'm like, "We get it, you're there, but I'm trying to do a podcast." Um, so then he shows her that he got her 2 Squishmallows. So
Oh, is that what those are called?
oh, yeah. I will later on today take a photo of my daughter's room where she has probably 50 Squishmallows.
How much do they cost?
I don't know, like 20 bucks?
For the big or the little?
The big ones are probably like 40. I don't know. She's got so many. And recently we had that home organizer lady help her with her room, of which now it's a complete shithole again.
Oh,
And probably, gave away to Green Drop 20 Squishmallows. She's still got 50 in there. She lines them up around the edge of her bed because she's got kind of like a day bed.
yeah.
She lines them up around the edge of her bed. And then sometimes I'll go in there and they're all facing the wall, like just their tails. And I go,
Blair
what?
Witch Project?
And I go, what happened? And she goes, they were looking at me and I didn't like it. I'm like, "Were you smoking pot in your room? What's going on?" She just does that sometimes. It's
They were
really
giving me
it's
the eye, the
it was
stink
it's
eye.
really funny. I think she does it to see how long it'll take me to notice. It's like, oh, they're like, "That's weird." And all their little butts are sticking out. All right. So he shows her the Squishmallows. She's so happy because sometimes they turn inside and outside, and some are big, some are small. And she says, "Oh, she saw one of these online. She really wanted it. It was so nice of him to do that for her." And now she's like, I don't even know if I can do what I came here to do now because he's being so nice. So she says thanks, and Mama's like, "Urgh," like
This hurts
staring.
my heart. If you it I just what how surface level is your relationship that a stuffed animal can change your mind about essentially like getting a divorce? Like I was gonna divorce this guy, move
Yeah.
out and be done and go with my lesbian lover Kay, but
Uh-huh.
he got me this stuffed animal. So now the divorce is off. I mean, what is happening with these people?
Listen, I think you could win her love with a squishmallow. I do. I think if
Let's
her
be real,
boyfriend
you could win my mind over with like a good piece of pizza.
Yeah, you give me a good French onion dip and I'm yours.
Yeah.
Ooh, that sounds good, French onion dip. So, okay, so she says thanks, her mom is staring, and he apologizes to Claire, and Sophie is very happy, and
Didn't have to.
okay, didn't have to, he didn't do anything
Mhm.
wrong, and thankfully, she says she is sorry for raising her voice at him as well. Or how about, like, "I hate him, he's a
Mhm.
loser,like, all the things
Mhm.
you no, she didn't apologize. She just apologizes
And
for
I
raising her
apologize
voice.
for this top that I'm wearing.
And he said and he says, "So, what brings you by? What's going on?"
This is just a friendly chat.
Yeah. And, she goes, "Well, now I feel bad." And he goes, "Why? Why do you feel bad?" And then Claire's like, "Oh my god, she's gonna stay because now she feels bad. He's gonna turn on his puppy dog eyes." And she tells Rob, like, "I really appreciate you apologizing to my mom, and I really appreciate the squishmallows, but I feel like I need a few days, just a little space to process and reflect. So I'm gonna grab some stuff." And she says, "Maybe you'll think and you'll realize, like," she says this to not to him, but to us. "Maybe he'll think and he'll realize, like, shit's not gonna end well." And he goes, "Well, you've told me this before that you're going to move out. You need space and you need time. And then
Yeah.
you come back and then you move out." And she goes, "You don't understand. You made my mom cry yesterday, Rob." And whole Claire's like, "It's working. It's working." So she says she really does appreciate his apology and the gift. And she's upset that she's got to get her things and go, but she knows it's the right thing to do. And I don't think it's the right thing to do. I think she should
No, I
stay and
her
work it out
feelings
or don't.
yes, exactly.
Do it or don't. Quit going back and forth.
Mhm.
You're married.
Yeah,
Quit.
yeah.
So Robin is talking to us, says, it's like a shot in the heart. Claire is responsible and her opinion will always be more important. And I think it's totally out of my hand. And this woman is my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
And
That
that's right too.
that's valid,
That's
yeah.
that's right. All right, let's move on to Jasmine and Gino. Um, Jasmine is doing yoga in the park, and Gino comes up and says, "Hi, I came to pick you up. You want to go to lunch and chat?" And she says, "Only if it's an adult conversation and we each take a turn to talk." And he goes, "Okay." So when he's talking to Eddie, he goes, "It hurts me that she said I'm not a real man. And I want to get out of this mess of always getting in these stupid arguments." It's just like, but then you won't be on the show anymore. So I don't know
Yeah.
if that's a great plan. They're totally going to be on 90-day beach therapy camp next time.
I think that's smart. I think she needs therapy. I think he does too.
They
I
need
think
couples
they both
therapy.
do.
Yeah,
But I think she needs individual therapy, a lot of it.
agree. Agree. So in the car, she's like, "I'm mentally exhausted." And he goes, "Me too." And she goes, "Poor Gino." So they sit down and she says, "What you said really hurt me about like why would a real woman would not be a bitch, is not a bitch or whatever." And she wipes away fake tears. I was eyeballing,
Mhm.
no tears. It was what you said. Yeah, no tears.
She used
And
to
he,
be a good crier. She's all dried up.
and he
Can't
says,
spare
ew.
Arrested Development. She goes, "I wanna cry, but I can't spare the moisture."
And he says, what she said really hurt him. And she says, it starts off bad, but it ends up good. She says, "I'm sorry if I hurt your masculinity as a man. That was not my intention. And I want to work very hard to not start arguments. And even if we are arguing, I will still respect you. And I won't purposely say hurtful things. But
But
I
I
want,
can't help myself.
but sometimes, but I want you as the husband to take initiative with intimacy." And he goes, "That's going to take some time. But when I'm ready, I'll let you know."
Jeez.
It's not what she wants to hear.
No. Also, how many times has she made this promise?
Right. So, yeah. So how many times has he said, "I promise to bang you regularly," and
Mhm.
he won't do it? And so he says, he'll let her know. And she says, "I want you to find me attractive, even if we're arguing." And he goes, "Physically?" And he says, "Physically, of course I'm attracted to you. You're beautiful." And she goes, "What do you like most about me?" And of course he says, "Your big, perky breasts."
I'm surprised he didn't say boobies, because
I'm
sometimes he
surprised.
says
I know.
boobies.
And you're in great shape. And she says, "Well, I like everything about you physically. And in my eyes, you're the most beautiful man on earth." Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And then and her
Beauty is
talking,
in the eye of the beholder.
that's right, lid for every pot.
Shark teeth.
Shark
Shark nose.
shark nose
Yeah.
and little teeth.
Yeah.
Skinny white legs. She likes all of it. So she says, in her talking head, she goes, "I'm glad we're getting along and we can have a civil conversation." And then she says, "Baby, if I'm mad, you just stick your big toe in my mouth, you jam it right down my throat and use it like a pacifier." What?
I
What? No.
This is the sort of gems we could get if they were on Pillow Talk. Because it's always when they're on their talking heads and
Oh,
they're getting along that they say the weirdest stuff.
you're right. You're right. Yeah, you're right. So now they walk into a store called Dressed Up. That's the name of the store. Dressed Up.
Dressed up in Michigan.
That's right, Dressed Up. And the lady goes, "What brings you in today?" Like screaming, as if she has no idea.
Right. As if the camera crew has not already been there and prepped her and she hasn't already signed a waiver.
Hilarious. And so she says, "I need an evening gown for Miss International World Supermodel Contest." I'm sure you've heard of it.
Galaxy, um,
Does she win? Has anybody looked
Galaxy
it up?
World, Universe, Earth,
Does she
Solar
win?
System,
Does she
Milky Way.
win? We
I don't
don't
know.
know. Okay. So then she says,
I feel like she would wind up in one of those Lifetime movies where if she doesn't win, she kills one of the judges or kills one of the other girls that's her biggest competition, like the
mm-hmm,
cheerleader moms.
mm-hmm. Or like remember on Family Chantel when Pedro's sister was in Miss Dominican Republic, just like from her area, and then somebody else won, and then the mom went, "All those girls, all those girls had big asses," and she was like dogging all the other girls.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised they didn't put one of those. You remember they sent Chantel like one of those boxes,
Yeah.
like a cursed box,
Yeah. A voodoo box.
a
Yeah.
voodoo box. Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't send those to the other girls in the competition.
Yeah.
Those two ladies are scary.
They are.
Lydia and what's her face?
Nicole.
Nicole.
Nicole. So she needs an evening gown. She says hot pink is her best color. That's her good luck color. And Gino has a lot of opinions. And she's like, for somebody with no taste, so you've got good taste. And he's like, hey, I've come a long way. And she was like, I know. And I think you, Gino, should be an underwear model because you have such a good package. All right, we get it. That's enough. He's not going to bang you. Stop talking about his package. And he makes the craziest face ever that I did screenshot, which literally I've already sent to people 3 times today. When they said something, I was like, huh? It's like a Thais face. It's so good.
Yeah.
He made the craziest face. So in the talking head, she says, oh, maybe Gino could be my manager. And he goes, yeah, I've got a lot of experience. I almost joined Mr. Michigan in my younger years. And then we see photos of a young Gino, which are just shocking.
He was not bad.
Shocking photos.
He was kind of cute.
Shocking photos. Really upsetting with what's happened to him.
It really spun my world completely upside down.
I'm surprised with all her love of plastic surgery and stuff that he hasn't gotten a hair transplant like David.
Yeah.
Because it really works. I think it's
He had a good head of hair.
excruciatingly painful, but it really works. My cousin did it.
Oh.
Yeah. They literally take every single follicle from the back of your head and implant them onto the top of your head. And that's why it looks like little blades of grass.
Oh my gosh.
Until it all blends in. And it's like one by one, it's hours and hours of just pain.
I can't imagine how long that would take. Yeah.
Hours and hours of pain. But it might be worth it.
They don't put you under?
No. But you're all numbed, like your head's all numb, but you're wide awake, just sitting there. And it's just like blood coming all out of your head. Ugh, don't look it up. Now you're going to go look it up.
I am totally going to look. Is there a Dr. Pimple Popper episode about it?
So the pink dress looks great. He loves it and says it's really good. And then she comes out in an orange dress, which I thought looked great on her.
Mm-hmm.
Not many people can pull off orange, but it looked good on her.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, I don't like it. It's like a pumpkin. Now, the burgundy dress she puts on, in my opinion, not flattering with her hair color at all. Do you remember the one that she picked? That burgundy?
Yeah. I mean, I think she looked, well, see, I thought the color looked okay, like the wine color, but it didn't look fancy enough, or it just looked like a dress you would wear to a normal party, like a nice party.
She says, I like this dress because it shows my breasts, but not like vulgar, like my American flag bikini.
Right. I'm normally so tasteful.
And it's like I'm classy and not a bitch. And look, it has a tail like an alligator.
Oh my God.
Bringing it back around to the alligators. And then they have this dumb thing about him being her manager and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And meow, meow, meow. Okay. So let's move on to Patrick and Thais while I place my Safeway order because I forgot. Go ahead. I forgot to place I was like, oh, I'm going to go pick up the Safeway order after this. I was like, I forgot to hit pay.
This is when Katie looks things up on the show and I just can feel that she's not listening to me. And I'm like landing jokes and it's just not getting any response. And I'm like, oh, I need an audience.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it right now. I'm gonna hit checkout. Continue. Go ahead.
Okay, so they are still at this awkward dinner party where hot daddy Carlos is going after cheap daddy Jose for charging them for the baby's party and the apartment. And Patrick says, Patrick is like trying to defend his dad. John has no clue what this fight is about because he can't speak Portuguese.
Right.
And he's like, I don't know what you're talking about, but you shouldn't charge your son for a party.
Yeah.
And Patrick says, I charge you rent. And John says, I paid more than you asked. So they're having this dumb fight about rent and it's ridiculous. And then Patrick throws his wife under the bus and says, well, we need this apartment because I would just stay with my dad at the ranch, but Thais won't stay there. So that's why we need the apartment. And Thais is like, I've tried to get you to get rid of the apartment, but you said no. And then they're constantly at Patrick to get rid of the apartment, and he says it's only several thousand a year, which I think I did do the math, and it was like 3,000 something a year. It's very cheap
What
for
is that 2-bedroom apartment?
yeah, it's a really cheap.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, to keep it. Yeah.
So he's like, just keep it. So Carlos just came, hot daddy Carlos came to
God,
this
he's
dinner
so good
hot.
looking. He's so
He's
good looking.
But he's such a dick. Like
Well,
he wants to start things.
by
And
the way, I watched this week and I was like, okay, now I'm ready to see Thais's mom or the aunt and the stepmom. I saw no women. Where were the
no,
other people? Were they at another table?
they were not allowed to speak. I don't know. Did they
Okay.
leave? Maybe because they're
There was
fighting
one.
from last week.
I don't know. Okay.
They didn't even order appetizers yet, I don't think. So Carlos is like, okay, not only are you charging your son for this party, your son is also wrong because he didn't look me in the eye and say, I want to marry your daughter. He didn't get my permission because she's my property. And he never apologized for it. And don't you know how to raise your son properly?
Now that wasn't good. But
My
also the answer is no, he does not because he was a
no.
terrible father.
He wasn't there. So,
Yeah.
but gauntlet thrown. And then Patrick says, what, your daughter never lets me say anything. And so again, he's like somehow throwing Thais again. And then John says, let's be real. Thais lied to you, Carlos, about marrying Patrick. So therefore, Patrick wasn't able to kiss the ring and ask for permission. And therefore, irregardless,
Herefore, too, it is stated.
it is stated that it's not Patrick's fault. It's Thais's again. So Patrick is like, first you were defending, okay, whose side are you on, John? You're playing both sides. And John says, I don't even understand what anybody's saying. But I'm reading the body language and I could be a detective. And I was like, I would hook you up with Dateline. I think you'd be a very entertaining detective. And then he's like, I'm on the side of the truth. And you can't handle the truth.
Do you think that there's a translator at that table? I think there is.
It does seem like he's understanding a lot more of what's happening.
Yeah, I think so. I think they had a translator there.
But it's really funny that he just keeps jumping in. And he's generally right about most of his takes. Like,
he is.
He again is good on pillow talk because he really has good takes.
Mhm.
So he says they're already married. Why are we doing this? Like, Carlos, you seem like a nice guy, but you're not going to get this kiss the ring moment. So maybe let it go. They have kids. They have a kid. They're married. Like, why are we doing this? And then Thais actually realizes that her dad is the one stirring up the crap. And she's like, kind of gets mad at him and like, shut up, dad, because we still have this birthday party to do.
Yeah.
So this was the precursor to the birthday party where let's save some of the good fighting to get us renewed for another season at the birthday party. So then the next day, basically, Patrick and Thais rehash the whole thing at a farmer's market or something and some sort of outdoor market. And it was boring. And then Thais and John and Patrick go out to meet her friends. This was not boring. So Patrick immediately spills a drink all over the table, which is a Kimberly move. And I was embarrassed for him. I was embarrassed for myself. He somehow blames his leg brace. But it was his arms that caught it. Anyway, it's fine. It's like, I'm in a leg brace. It makes it hard to carry a drink of water. So Thais basically prefaces the drinks with the two girlfriends and says they already hate him because he took me away to the United States and he got married to me way too fast. And I was not aware she was being human trafficked. I thought she had some sort of agency in this relationship.
I thought that she was on a 90-day visa, which would mean you have to get married in 90 days, that she also had to sign the paperwork on.
Yeah. And she was a grown lady.
Mm-hmm.
So I did hope that the friends were going to grill Patrick the way that Patrick grilled John and was so rude and hypocritical about John's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Still not over it.
Yeah.
I know you're over it. So John or Thais basically this one girl comes in so hot. She's like I don't know if she's trying to get on TV or if she really hates Patrick, but
This is her moment. This
this
is her moment.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's basically like, "Hi Patrick, nice to meet you. Thais told me that you kissed this other girl when you were dating." Like,
I feel like we've heard this story before.
I
Did we
think
hear
we
it on
have,
their
but
season?
it wasn't a big deal.
They
Thais
weren't
is over it. They
they weren't
weren't
dating.
official. They
Yeah.
were not if it he was in the United States, and
Yeah.
they weren't official, and he was drunk at a party. He told her about it the next day,
Yeah.
and the friend just keeps pushing it, and it's like they are married now and have a child, and
Yes. Yes.
Thais is clearly over it. So, but you're bothered. So Thais is only telling them the very bad stuff and not saying, "Oh, he's a really good dad and he's supporting me," and,
Yeah. Yeah.
nothing like that. So, Patrick keeps saying, "I didn't have sex with her, I just kissed her." And then he starts saying, "No, enter." No on no enter, and making the gesture with the finger, and you know what I'm talking about.
Like that?
Yeah, like, "I
Okay.
wanna marry your daughter." That he did
The
that.
finger in the hole, the
The
finger in
thing
the donut
Yeah,
movement. Yes, okay.
so he and they're all laughing, and I thought, "Oh, it's going fine. He made them laugh. It's gonna be great." And then, John is like, again, they're married, they have a child, is this really important? And they start trying to teach Patrick and John what the word cuckold means because, neither of them have ever heard it, and
Okay.
they're making, like, devil horns on their head, like a I don't know, that's maybe the symbol for cuckold, and they're like, "What is it called when you get cheated on?" And John jumps in and goes, "Bitch," like he's trying to guess words.
Yeah.
And then the friend kind of feels like I think she thinks he called her a bitch.
Uh-huh.
And
I thought he called
he
her a bitch too, no?
no, I don't think so. I think he
Okay.
was just playing along with this game where they're like trying to understand what a cuckold is.
Okay.
That was my understanding.
Not
Um,
not a
you don't
bitch.
think so. You think he was calling her a bitch. So
Probably.
the friend is like, "He's the brother that bothered you a lot," right? All they know about John. And she's like, "Yeah." And then Thais is like, "Yeah, the party." And they're like, "Oh, yeah, he threw this party and invited all these girls over," which
Right?
again happened last season. I cannot believe we're still talking about it.
I don't even think they were
It was
married
before they
yet.
were married. It was
Yes.
totally before they were married. He brought over a bunch of girls, and Thais thought it was so he was like trying to break them up or trying to
Yeah.
get Patrick to cheat. And the friend says, "I think John is a bad influence on you, Patrick, regarding infidelity." And John takes offense to that. He's like, "We're not cheaters in this family." And
That was really good.
yeah. And like it's on their family crest or something.
It's like your C tattoo. It's a C, but with like a
Yeah,
null set across it. No cheetahs.
no cheetahs. Also, I don't feel like that's true because you're telling me Jose is not a cheater?
Jose is definitely a cheater, and I think probably John's dad was a cheater, and I don't know about the other brother's dad, but it seems like they've all been real pieces of shit. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And according to Patrick, his mom, RIP, was not the best mom either.
No,
So
they had a bad family life. All three of
it's
those
it
boys all
was
around. Yeah,
very toxic. It's amazing they're doing as well as they are.
agreed.
So John is like, "We're not cheaters in this family." And Patrick says, "John and I lived together the whole time I was dating Thais long distance, and he never encouraged me to cheat on her or go to a strip club or anything." And John goes, "Well, I did encourage you to go to that one strip club, but that was your bachelor party. That's different." And so Patrick is standing up for him. He's like, "John is my brother. Like, he's my brother." And the rude friend goes, "But he's an asshole." What is wrong with her?
She's trying to get her TV moment. She's like, I'm here. I've had 3 shots of tequila.
Right.
Let's do it.
Let's
Yeah,
do it.
yeah.
And I understood the assignment. This is what I came here to do.
Mhm.
And so she's like, "You're an asshole. You're a typical male asshole." And then John screams back at her, "You're a slut," in Portuguese because it's the one word that he knows in Portuguese.
Now listen. She may be bitchy, but you don't have to go for slut. You don't know her sexual history. Don't slut shame this girl just because you don't like
slut
her.
shame her. I don't like that, John. Maybe he doesn't even know what that word means. He just knows it's a bad word.
Maybe he just thinks it's the same thing
Or
as like
bitch.
you're a bitch or whatever.
Yeah.
It's listen. She called him an asshole. It's fair game. He can call her whatever she wants. She shouldn't have called him a name first.
Right.
But you don't have to go to slut.
No, I do feel
Yeah.
like slut is an escalation term, and he could have taken it down a notch, but she's been coming at him.
Yeah.
She's been coming at Patrick too for
Yeah.
no reason.
Yeah.
So he's just he just his face was so crazy though. Like when he screamed it, his eyes are all big. He's like, "Well, you're a slut," and she throws a drink on him, and we
Yeah.
don't know what happens after.
Yeah. He's probably gonna laugh. He's just gonna
I
laugh.
Yeah, because you tell me he's not throwing a drink on somebody.
Oh yeah. He
He
has a
started a fight with Sparkles at the reunion,
yeah.
who he
He's
also deserved it to bring.
totally. And he's he has his whole head tattooed now, Spockles.
Oh,
Whole
yeah,
head.
he's in a different place right now.
And he's out there in what was the name where of this country where the girl was from? Miona. She's got a new boyfriend. What was the Serbs?
Oh,
Serbia.
yeah, mhm.
Serbs. He's in Serbia. And he's like, I'm looking for a Serbian girl with my tattooed head.
So
It's
he's
very
just going for another Serbian girl?
yeah, he's like on his Instagram, like, ooh, I'm looking for a perfect Serbian girl. And he's like, but he was like recently like in a monastery,
I
like being
thought
a
he was
monk.
becoming a monk. Yeah, I'm very
Mm,
confused. Mm.
he's all over the
He might
world.
need some supervision.
Oh my gosh. Remember his wonderful grandmother. Okay.
Oh, yeah, she was
Yeah.
great, and his mom was the
Yeah.
therapist, but was
Mhm,
also very S-shaming of,
mhm. Yes.
Miona's outfits.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to Loren and Alexei. Yes, we're talking about them. Once again, we are just covering what's on our screen. We do not know their politics. We do not endorse their politics, whatever they may be. I don't know. Again, don't come
I
at me. Okay.
I know, but we're not gonna talk
Don't
about it.
don't we're not talking about it.
No.
So Alex goes over to his in-laws with baby Ariel, and he says he feels drained and tired about
He
what's going
looks
on.
tired.
Yeah, he's tired. It's hard. It's hard to
Yeah,
be a full-time parent.
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard. And lots of
Newsflash, you just keep pumping babies into that lady, and now you gotta take care of them.
guess what? Lots of women have 2, 3 kids and work full-time jobs, and guess what? It's hard.
Uh-huh.
It's hard. So he says he feels drained and tired, and he's upset about what's going on in Israel, in addition to what's going on with Lauren and the kids. And he says, but he basically is like, I'm going to get her back. And the mom's jokes and goes, oh, you're going to go on a diving trip? Because yeah, I'm going on a diving trip to Baja or something, like all by myself. And, so he says, but the main thing right now is like, she can't pick them up at all. Like physically, she's not allowed to pick them up. So he has to get them up in the morning and get them to bed at night and do the drop off at school and everything because she can't drive. He's super stressed nonstop at home and at work. And then, with the world issues. And then he says to Lauren's mom, who we know is the enemy,
Mhm.
he says to her, she's bitching all the time about being in pain. And, there's a lot of tension in our family right now. And we just really thought recovery would be easier. And the mom says, I'm sure that Alex heard 6 to 8 weeks and thought, yeah, yeah, yeah. But he really didn't know how hard it would be for 6 to 8 weeks. And we're helping as much as we can. But this is the situation that they're in.
I'm surprised she didn't say, "I told you so."
And I told you so. And what
And I
was
told
wrong? And why'd you do that? And
you. Mhm.
so he says if he would have known how long and hard the recovery was, he would never have agreed to it. You sat in on all those doctor's visits and you did hear the same things we heard.
Mhm.
So I don't know if you thought that, 6 to 8 weeks really means 3,
Right.
but it doesn't. And so now we're at home and Lauren is folding sheets and she's moaning in pain, but she's like down, she sits on the bed to try to fold. And by the way, all of that movement and everything for what she had done in her breast and her
Yeah.
midsection, and her arms, she's not supposed
Yeah.
to be doing any of that.
Mhm.
None of it. So she's sort of moaning around in pain and Alex is saying goodnight to the kids. And the talking head, she says it's been a month. So it's now been 4 of the 6 to 8 weeks. It's almost been like half the time. And she goes, a lot of it is psychological because I feel better, but I know that I'm doing too much. And then we see her call with hot Dr. Dev and he tells her, I love Dr. Dev.
I know you do. I don't.
And he says, look, you need to continue to take it easy if you want to calm down this inflammation. Like, it's never going to get better if you don't take it easy, like I've told you. And she says, Alex is so stressed because he's having to do all the stuff at home. And of course, what's going on in Israel, his home country. So Alex walks in and goes, laundry again, every day with the laundry. And she says, Dr. Dev says, I need to stop doing all of it. I need to stop doing the laundry. And he goes, you can fold the laundry. And she goes, he told me all of these repetitive movements are going to ruin the surgery. And he gets all mad and he goes, what do you want me to do? And you just want to go lay down and be on the bed all day and that's it? Like, what do you want me to do? We have 3 babies. I can't do everything. You need to do the laundry once a week and then fold it very slowly.
He's lost his mind.
By the way,
1 month of being a full-time parent and he has lost his ever-loving mind.
He has lost his mind. And by the way, when the kids are little, their clothes are little. So folding little clothes really doesn't take that long. When you have to fold 4 full-size people's clothes, that takes a lot longer. So I will say that he can every
I think
afternoon.
it takes probably the same amount. You think it takes more time to fold bigger clothes?
I know that it does. I've lived it.
Okay, I believe you. I'm not a parent. I cannot talk.
And also the clothes are bigger. And then like teenagers change their clothes 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So at least with little kids, they only change once unless they poop their pants and then we got a problem.
Okay. But this is the question. Why, for the love of God, have they not hired someone for 2 months to help them out around the house? They can afford it.
I've literally got that as my very next note.
Okay. It's so frustrating because then we wouldn't have a storyline, I guess.
Yeah. And okay, so and that's when he's like, well, he's like, we have 3 babies. Like, I can't do everything, And so she says, okay, but then what about the dishes and getting dinner ready and like packing the lunch boxes and organizing the house? And he goes, when can I do that? And she goes, that's what
HelloFresh.
She goes, that's what I'm saying.
Perfect time for an ad for HelloFresh.
It would be a great time for an ad. Unfortunately, not a sponsor this week. And he says, that's what I'm saying. These are things that have to get done. And this is where my note is. Seriously, why did she not hire a nurse for herself for 3 weeks and a babysitter to come every single day for 2 months, come get the kids ready in the morning, deal with them all day whenever they get home from their little school, and let Alex deal with them only at dinner and bedtime?
Because they're most likely getting this surgery at an extreme discount or free, a partial discount at least for the press.
Because of Dr. Dev?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Angela got all of her surgeries, so they can, and I know they can hire someone. Someone on Reddit said that they did have a nanny at one point, but she got fired or she quit because Loren was difficult. I don't know.
Well, I think she's very type A.
She is.
And I think it's very much like, you have to do everything this way. And I do the laundry every day. And this is what I do. And this is how I do it. And it's very hard. He even said it's going to be very hard for her to like relinquish that control.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So he says, look, she really downplayed the recovery on this. And she can't move. She can't lift. She can't look up. She can't look down. And forget about the first 2 weeks when she couldn't even change her own clothes. And it just wasn't what we thought. To my note is, again, you were at the doctor's appointments and so were we. So we all knew this is what it was going to be.
Right. And you were free to ask questions also to the doctor.
Yeah. And so he goes, you downplayed it all. And now I have to deal with it. I have to do everything with the kids and I have to go to work. And she goes, I didn't think it would be so intense. And also, I did all this for you too. And he goes, you did not do it for me. I told you to go to the gym.
Okay. This is where the conversation went.
Oh, that wasn't good when he said, I told you to go to the gym, because she has had 3 kids in like 4 years.
No, you can't just go to the gym for that.
No.
Your body is going to change.
So he says, you went with the surgery because you decided you're going to wake up and look like Barbie and that's it. And he goes, and it doesn't work like that. So you listen to what I say and don't argue and do the things the way I'm telling you, not the way you're telling me now.
Okay. Yeah. I did not like him in this scene. Also, she already explained she has body dysmorphia and that was part of the surgery. Although I don't think this is going to help her. I think she needs therapy.
Body dysmorphia is in your brain.
Yeah.
Not on your body. Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't like the gym comment. I didn't like the Barbie comment.
Nope.
But I also
I
didn't
didn't
like
like do what I say and listen to what I say,
no.
and then we wouldn't be in this position.
But
I
I
don't.
also didn't like her saying, "I did this for you too,"
Mhm.
when he has not been asking her to do this.
No, no. So she says, honestly, I think you just resent me for the surgery. And he says, I don't resent you, but you downplayed it. And she goes, well, I'm glad I downplayed it because if I wouldn't have, you would have never would have supported me. But also, he went to the doctor's appointments. He could have understood it, whatever. Okay. So he goes, that's it. I'm going to the couch. And she's like, asshole. And then she says, okay, I have been selfish, like with the surgery. And I know that he's doing too much. And I know he's burned out. And I don't blame him for being upset. And I didn't do this to push us apart, but I did it so we could have a better future together. But he doesn't understand. Now, again, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. And he said, after you have these kids, sure, if you want to do a mommy makeover, it's fine.
Right. Or
Do you
maybe
know?
they were struggling with intimacy because of her body issues, and she thought that this will help us and then we'll have more sex. So it is kind of like I'm doing it for him. And
That's a
when
great
she said
point.
like for a better future, to me that meant she'll make more money as an influencer. That's what that meant to me, because she wants
Mm,
to be like a mommy influencer.
okay.
So she maybe feels like she needs surgery for that. I don't know. Also, but no one thought when she would have this surgery that there was going to be this huge, horrible war in his home country.
Yes.
That could not have been foreseen. Well, maybe it
Hmm.
could have.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
I don't think anyone thought it would turn into this at that moment. And so that was an unforeseen life change,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Um, she might have been downplaying it before that appointment. It seemed like that was the big appointment that he went to, and
Hmm.
maybe she had been downplaying it before then. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's one of these pull yourself up by the bootstraps kind of guy that if he's never been sympathetic towards like her physical pains, anything like that on their spin-off show. It's like if you have a migraine, he's like, walk it off. Like he's that
Hmm.
kind of guy. So
Hmm.
he probably thought she can walk it off. It'll be fine.
Right. And because I believe he was an EMT.
Yeah.
So anybody in the medical field and
Should know.
anybody that's married to or has a parent that's in the medical field will tell you, walk it off. You're fine.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell my brother-in-law who's a doctor, I could be like, my right toe just got severed by my car. He'd be like, let me see that. Are you sure? No, my toe is hanging off my body. I mean, I don't know if you need to go to the hospital. Do you have any gauze? I mean, they really, anybody that is married to a doctor or has a doctor in your family, and he's not a doctor, obviously, but he's in the medical field, it's just like, I'm sure it's fine.
I'm
I'm
sure
sure
it's fine.
you
Yeah.
don't need to go to the doctor. It's fine.
Yeah. He has that tough, well, he's from Israel, and he before that he was from Russia?
I don't know. I just thought he
His
was from Israel. I don't know.
No, they also speak Russian.
Wow.
They moved to Israel. I can't remember the whole timeline, but like, so he has that sort of, like Andre would do. He'd be like, "You're fine.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
fine."
Women in my country go out to the field, have baby, keep working.
Exactly. So
Mm.
that's just the mentality. So he don't think he was ever going to be sympathetic, but I'm sure, yeah, this whole thing was just, could they have waited till the kids were a bit older maybe?
Mhm.
I'm sure it's still hard with 3 it's gonna be hard with 3 kids at any age,
Yeah.
but maybe when they aren't in diapers.
Yeah. That's true. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All right, let's go to my bestie, Emily and Kobe. And
Kobe!
what?
We had a guy Kobe! I was going,
Kobe.
"Kobe!" We had a guy from Cameroon in, a recent episode of Dateline.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool. I didn't see it or listen to that episode, so I don't know. Sometimes I just listen to yours episode and I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm like,
You know
oh,
what I realized too when you asked me what episode we were doing? I said last week's episode, and I totally forgot the episode that we just recorded a few days ago.
okay. And what's that about? Tell
It's
me
the
now.
Friday night episode, and it's called The Breakup,
Okay.
because it
So
was
that means
also
it's
hosted by Mank, which was the last the mystery in Orange County, which we did the week before.
okay. The breakup. So I'll look on my DVR for
Yeah.
that one.
And there's a guy from Cameroon. And on our episode, I went, Kobe! And Katie had no idea what I was talking about.
Y'all know how much I love Tropical Smoothie Cafe, right? I talk about it all the time. I'm loving their new mocktails this summer. They have that Cosmo one. It's so good. But here's something you didn't know. Did you know that National Smoothie Day is Friday, June 21st. National Smoothie Day is my kind of day. Yes, it's National Smoothie Day. So head on over to Tropical Smoothie Cafe and you're going to get a free smoothie on June 21st with a bowl or food purchase. You can order in the app, online, or in cafe. And I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite sandwich at Tropical Smoothie Cafe is the turkey bacon ranch. It is so delicious. But let me tell you something else. I also love the kids meal with the turkey cheddar wrap. Okay. My kids love the bowls, but these are the two things I love the most. And again, you guys, mango berry smoothie Cosmo is their new mocktail, and they also have the watermelon mojito smoothie. These things are delicious. So head on over to Tropical Smoothie, and you're going to get your free smoothie with a bowl or food purchase on June 21st. Tropical Smoothie Cafe, you're on Tropic time now. So Kobe and his family come over to present all the items on the dowry list, right? So it's important to get all the things because then it's a clear sign that you can take care of their daughter if you were able to get the items on the list. I wonder what the timeline is. Like, how long do you have? Do you have a week? Do you have 4 days? Like
It
24
seemed like
hours?
it was a couple days. Yeah.
Yeah. So Kobe says, here are the things. They've laid them out on a table. You can cross-check the list to be sure that we fulfilled our promise. And he shows them the goat, and they all go, aw. And Emily goes, oh my God, Kobe. That goat is so cute. But I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd be traded for a goat. I mean, maybe I heard of goats, but one goat? Oh my God, Kobe. Just kidding. I love it. It was so funny.
It was hilarious.
I love Emily. She's like, oh my God, Kobe.
Also, they
So-
know that goat is going to be killed, right? Do they-
I'm hoping that nobody is thinking about that.
because they keep talking about how cute it is, like it's going to be a pet.
Mm-mm. Mom is like, I like the goat. I want to take it home with me. And David's like, yeah, Lisa wants to put it in the suitcase. She'd leave me here and take the goat. She was like, yeah.
I would too, to be
Can I
honest.
fit it under the seat in front of me? So they look at all the items and then we see the bride price. And Kobe says, Emily can't be around when we discuss the bride price. And she goes, where do I go? Do I go stand over here? He goes, go in the house. So after she walks away, Kobe says, now we don't talk about money directly, but we use leaves to represent money. And each leaf represents 100 francs CFA. And I looked that up. That means the West African franc, 16 cents to the dollar on American money. Okay.
Yeah, that's crazy. But also, it's funny that they're like talking about money would be distasteful.
Right.
So we're going to talk about these stalks of a plant, which
Yes.
represents money.
So it's not 16 cents on the dollar. 100 franc CFA, 100 West African francs is 16 cents. Okay.
Okay. I
Okay.
understand. Yeah.
So Kobe hands them the leaves. And meanwhile, like when David was counting, I was going 1, 2, 3, 4. And then they would cut the camera. I was like, damn it. Now I lost
Mhm.
count. Then they would put it back. I was like, are we on 5?
Mhm.
So Kobe hands him the leaves and says, it's bargaining. We cannot accept what you wrote on the list. We bargain. He's explaining
Oh.
how it works. So this was fascinating to me.
Yeah, it's a barter system.
Yeah. They will not accept what he wrote on the list. So David should have gone higher because they're going to come in lower. So David's counting the leaves and Lisa's like, I don't like this. I don't like this. You're paying for it. And we're like, Lisa, we've been
Zip
over it. Zip it. We've been over it. So David says he asked for 1,000 francs. And so he says, count off 10. So count off 10. And then Kobe and his dad and his brother, his cousin, were ever talking. They're like, take out 3. That's their bargaining, right? So Kobe hands it back and he says, this is what we can afford. And if it's not enough, it's negotiable. So David goes, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
fine.
he's like, I'm not going to go back.
No,
I'm not going to counter.
I'm not going to counter. Kobe says in the end, it's like $1.50 in the US dollar. And he says, it's not a lot of money in American culture, but that is expensive in Cameroon. So that was good to know.
Yeah, good. I'm sure Emily will be happy about that.
Yeah. So Emily comes out and stands. He says, now you come and stand on the side with us. And Kobe says, this is her new position because she's now standing with them and not with Lisa and David. And Lisa actually tears up and is like, oh my gosh. It's like I was like, they're already married and have 3 children.
They still live with you, Mom. They're not.
You can see them anytime. Just
Any
walk down the
day.
stairs.
Yeah.
Okay. So David says, of course, Kobe understands this is all for sake of tradition. At least it's like, I hope so. No, I don't think when you get home, Kobe's going to be like, remember that goat? Go clean my underwear, woman. I don't think that's going to happen.
You're still also married in America by American laws as
Right.
well. So,
Yeah. I think Lisa's going to get over it.
yeah.
All right, let's talk about your favorite couple, Ed and Liz. And maybe RIP, we never see them again. Let's find out.
Please God.
Yeah.
So I really this episode made me sick to my stomach. His gaslighting is on full display, or he's just trying to trying to infuriate us on purpose. I can't believe that someone is this narcissistic that they would actually believe these words coming out of their mouth.
And he's out there going, look at my little doggies. Come on in, guys. What are you doing? I'm like, don't make us think you're a good dog owner.
No.
Shut up.
I passed that a long time ago when I learned people who are on certain sides of the political spectrum also love their dogs. Because I used to be like, oh, they love dogs. They must be a good person. I've seen neo-Nazis out there loving on their dogs. So that's not always true.
That's right.
So he says, the way she came in here and flew off the handle is why I canceled the wedding.
No. Nope.
I don't recall that happening. We all saw it. It was on camera.
Yeah.
Gaslighter says, what? So he says, your mom just came at me. And she says, well, you need to learn how to speak to women. And he says, that's hearsay. I don't think that means what he thinks it means.
No, it's not.
Okay, Emily D. Baker. Okay. So he says, well, your mom wasn't being a woman. She was being and then the subtitles did not pick up what he said, and she was talking over him. So I couldn't hear what he said, but it was something like a bleep, something not nice.
Ooh.
She wasn't being a woman, she was being a and then this is where it gets so rich. He says, I have a request for you. Mm-hmm. I want you to learn from this.
Oh my God.
Because I'm worried for your next relationship. Because I want you to be happy. And if you don't change, you're never going to be happy.
This is like he's her father, because he is 58 and she's 30. He could be her father easily. It's like he's the father being like, let me tell you something, daughter. I'm so concerned. I mean,
sickening. He's perfect. And she ruined this by her toxic personality, which may be true. She might be toxic as well, and I don't doubt it. But this is insane. So he's like, he should run for office, I actually think, because he thinks he is. I can't. So he's like, I'm worried about you. He's worried about her. Mm-hmm. Like, again, he's not a almost 60-year-old man who called off a wedding right before, didn't tell her, talk to the pastor, the officiant before. I can't. So then they start going at it, and she again says, you don't know how to talk to women. And he says, you don't know how to talk to men. And she says, you're not a man, you're a child. Good for her. And he says, okay, bye, have a nice life, as she's like storming off. Like, he's 5 years old. Have a nice life. And then she starts crying and she's like, I just wanted to say goodbye. Like, I thought this would be the last time I would ever see him. And I really wanted to have like a nice goodbye, which he's not capable of. And she's like, you are just so horrible. You ruined it. And I hate you so much. And he goes, you're so triggered. Like, he's 15. Like, he probably learned that from her daughter.
Right.
And he's so proud of himself, like smirking, and she's bawling her eyes out. Cut to, she's in the car crying hysterically, and you just see the top part of his head because he's so short, looking out the window at the driveway like a full-on peeper. Just a creeper.
Like what my dogs do when they sit by the door, like,
But he has no feeling, and he keeps going, yeah, I really loved her, but nothing. No, his face shows nothing. And he's like, I loved her and I tried to give her my love, but she wouldn't accept it. I can't even.
And you're
what
like,
what?
It's all on TV. We've seen it. You can't lie to us.
This is insane. Like, he's gaslit himself too, I think.
Yeah,
Like,
you're right.
I think he believes what he's saying,
Hmm.
or he is trying to be one of those hated villains on a reality show, which too late, he got there just by being himself. Like, but you know those people that like go
Yeah,
on to the real world and they're like, I'm gonna be the
yeah,
villain and I'm gonna be, and they do it on purpose, and it's like they're like some of those shock jock people that it's like you're not might they might be a nice person in real life, but they're just saying crap because that's what gets them the clicks. But like
yeah, yeah.
I
He wants to
can't.
go on season 2 of the villains or whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
But or he actually believes this, and his therapist should be deeply ashamed of herself. The
Yeah.
therapist he's always bragging about
Hmm.
having, because this is insanity. This is Twilight Zone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yes. He's the worst. And please, Matt Sharp, hear our prayers. No more.
No
No
more. I
more.
can't do it.
No more. And let's move on to our final couple, which is also please, Matt Sharp, hear our prayers. No
This
more.
is like the season of the abusers.
This is a season of the villains.
Yes.
That's what this is. Yeah. All right. So it's Angela and Michael. Um, I don't really know what to think here. I got a lot of DMs saying that there are lots of, not Paradise Men or whatever, but there are lots of these groups where people share their information totally like legit. It could be
Yeah.
Patrick and Thais, it could be totally legit people just trying to gather information about the process. And sometimes literally like he's not showing her tax records. He's saying you have to submit the tax records to the embassy. So he could have just been saying, yes, I submitted her tax records yesterday. That, he could be just giving that information.
He wasn't necessarily uploading
A photo.
images of them to the chat so that everyone could see them.
He's saying these are things you have to know when you go in to talk to the embassy. You have to know if they have a life
Mhm.
insurance policy. You have to know their tax records. Like these are things that the embassy is going to ask you about.
I mean, I buy that because I'm on Reddit and I'm on a diamond painting Reddit thread where people literally give each other diamond painting tips. So
Uh-huh. Yeah.
because you want tips from she's Mary Payne's like, uh-huh.
Uh-huh. I'm still
Uh-huh.
waiting for my diamond painting of my logo, which I know you're going to make for me.
I 100% will. If you're serious, I will.
I am serious.
Okay.
I'll pay
Uh,
you.
no, you don't have to pay
I
me.
mean, not much, but I'll pay you.
No,
Yeah.
you do not have to pay me. So like that makes perfect sense that you would want people's advice who have
Yeah.
gone through it or are going through. This is a years long process with lots of paperwork.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
The
what people
part where
wrote me and said. Yeah.
they were making fun of that lady, or she thought
Yeah.
that also doesn't surprise me that
Right.
a
Right.
group of young men are
Yeah.
doing that.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily mean they're, I don't know. It all seemed very shady, but she is also an overreactor.
Yeah.
So
So it's interesting. We'll see what happens, but I did like all the DMs that I got where people saying like a lot of this is like what she's saying is just, and then another thing somebody told me, and I will never be able to find it in my DMs, was saying that this system of putting money in for a person to hold it for you, like a piggy bank,
uh-huh.
is totally a thing they do in a lot of these
Yes.
African countries because the banks can't be trusted.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, and so
Mhm.
they're like, that's a totally legit thing too. And he's not trying to hide money. That's he's like he said, you don't know how our currency works.
And he
Yeah.
gave her the phone,
Yeah. Well,
knowing
what?
she would go through it.
Well, w he wasn't prepared, but he should know if she's coming to town, you better clear that shit off if there's something
Right.
you don't want her to see, because of course she's gonna go through it. So, all right, she's saying, she's still sitting in her, hotel room, whatever, den area where he slept the night before, and she's saying, "This is unreal." She says, "I don't wanna believe it until I find out what it is, and I'm gonna talk to an immigration lawyer." Now, somehow she calls Rebecca the immigration lawyer, who she's
Was
never met before, and just calls this person.
this is like some sort of ZocDoc where you can just like log on. Is there an immigration lawyer available 24/7 that I can chat with right now?
1-800 lawyer. I don't
Yeah.
know. So Rebecca is there and she says, she's telling Rebecca, he's in a group chat. He Googled life insurance and it looks like a scam to me. I'm like, is this motherfucker going to kill me?
We can all hope.
And
But
oh, no,
sorry, just
no,
kidding.
we don't. She has children to support. And
No,
Rebecca
you're
says,
absolutely right. I'm kidding.
I know you're kidding. Nobody's going to get mad at you, by the way.
One
Re-
person probably
Re-
will.
it's her name is rhymes with Schmila. So Rebecca says, you might just be assuming a lot of things, but I don't know your history. And she's then the lawyer says, well, you have been married for 2 years. Now, this is information we did not know. TLC is always teaching us things.
The Learning Channel.
That's right. Once he enters on the immigrant visa, he's a permanent citizen because they've been married for 2 years.
Yeah, I don't know if I realized that. Yeah.
Wow. By the way, maybe that was his long game the whole time, was to be married to her, stay married 2 years, fail those visa interviews, and after 2 years, he could go in as a permanent citizen.
What would the goal be of that versus getting approved right away and coming on the K1?
Because you're just on the K1, I think there's a certain amount of time before you can become a permanent citizen. It's 5 years or something. Remember when Pedro and Chantel were getting divorced? He's like, I could have filed for my permanent citizenship after 5 years, but I didn't because I'm not here for
Oh,
that.
so you have to stay for 5 years versus 2.
Yeah. No,
I mean, it's
this
been
is
like,
0. This is 0. He comes in the country and he's a
yeah,
permanent
he's
citizen.
done. But he still had to be married to her, but it was long distance. So he
Right.
didn't have to have sex with her all the time.
The point of this is they've been married for 2 years while he's in another country. So once he
Right.
comes over, if he came over and they were married for 2 years, it would still have 3 more to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's a permanent citizen since they've been married for 2 years. And once he enters on the immigrant visa, because he's been married to her for 2 years, he's a permanent citizen. And Angela says, yes, she's aware of this. And, also reminding her, you will be financially responsible for him for I wrote this down verbatim. You will be financially responsible for him to 125% of the federal poverty guidelines of your household. So whatever her household is, she lives in New York City or Hazelhurst, Georgia, for that particular house and the medium income, I guess, of that town, she would be responsible. So let's say the federal poverty guidelines say you have to make $30,000 a year to meet it. Well, she has to be responsible for 125% more of that. Whatever is the poverty guideline of your town, she's responsible for 125% of that.
Right.
So basically 25% above
Right.
whatever the guideline is of your town. So basically, if he gets to the States, he could sue you to get that money, or the government could sue you if he has to go on government assistance. Okay. Divorce does not end this application. Once he's there, he's there. So basically he could sue her.
Right.
And
with K1, you can annul it and then it gets rid of that, like we
Yeah.
saw with Danielle and Mohammed.
Muhammad. Yeah. So when he becomes a citizen, or when he's worked for 40 quarters under the Social Security Act, which in this case is 10 years. So when he becomes a citizen, which is the minute his feet hit the soil, or when he's worked 10 years. Okay. So basically his feet hit the soil, they get divorced the next day. She's responsible for 125%, 25% above the poverty level for 10 years.
Yeah.
From the minute he becomes a citizen, which is the minute he
And I have
lands.
to keep doing those cameos
She's
for a
going to
long 10 years.
And you see that she's on the Drew Barrymore show this week, and people are hysterically
What?
mad about it. Yes.
Are you serious?
It's like, guess this week, Angela Deem and Barry Manilow.
No. Like
Yes.
she's just a regular celebrity person. No.
People are like posting it. I reposted it. I was like, whoever is doing the booking for Drew Barrymore needs to citizen's arrest, be fired. Yes. Yep. So anyway, she says in her talking head, Michael suing me or scamming me can not only financially ruin my life, but my 6 grandkids that I look after now and I want to look after in the future, even when I'm gone. So Rebecca says, yeah, the way to personally stop this process is to email the embassy and let them know you want to withdraw the petition before it goes through. And she says, but you need to be sure before you do that. And Angela goes, yeah, sometimes I can overreact. And she says, yeah, it's the application's at the embassy and the interviews have been done. So you would need to send that email as soon as possible if you're sure, because once you withdraw that support by that email, that route's permanently closed. Like you can never do it again. So be sure before you withdraw it because you can't reapply. Okay. So now she's looking at his phone, and tells us like we just said about dog people. This tells us everything we need to know about Angela because she sees a fun dog video and said, "Who cares about two fucking dogs?"
I was shocked.
Two dogs
I
were
care.
playing.
I care.
I care. I care. I care about the video of the two dogs that were playing. I care.
I would rather see that, Matt Sharp.
Thank you. And after the phone
I did think
call,
they were humping, though. It was a funny video of two dogs humping. But
oh,
playing is, I'd watch either, to be honest.
I don't want to watch the humping, but I wouldn't say something mean about it.
No, I'd be like, let them do their business.
This message is sponsored by Greenlight. As your kids get older, some things about parenting get easier and others don't, like having a conversation about money. The fact is, kids won't really know how to manage their money until they're actually in charge of it, and that's where Greenlight can help. Greenlight is a debit card and money app made for families. Parents can send money to their kids and keep an eye on their kids' spending and saving, while the kids and the teens build money confidence and lifelong financial literacy skills. With the app, kids learn how to save, invest, and spend wisely thanks to games that teach money skills in a fun, accessible way. The Greenlight app also includes a chores feature where you can set up one-time or recurring chores customized to your family's needs and reward kids with allowance for a job well done. This is what we did with our kids. We would say, okay, if you water the plants, it's $1 every time you do it, or something like that. And by the end of the week, they wanted to do things around the house like unload the dishwasher or set the table because they would get money in their little bank. And it was so easy. It was one tap on my end to put that money in. At the end of the week, they could save half, keep half for themselves, and then they had their card all the time on them, and they really gave them a lot of financial confidence, I think. Millions of parents and kids are learning about money on Greenlight. It's the easy, convenient way for parents to raise financially smart kids and families to navigate life together. Sign up for Greenlight today and get your first month free when you go to greenlight.com/pinkshade. That's greenlight.com/pinkshade to try Greenlight for free. Greenlight.com/pinkshade.
As long as it's consensual.
And she says, after the phone call with the lawyer, I ain't feeling no better. Because if he's part of a scamming ring and scamming me, then I got to pull this fast. Because I'm going to be responsible for him. And I just wonder, how did I let it get this bad? And you got the wrong fucking American. And this could be the last conversation I ever have with my so-called husband. So then she finds him in a bar and she goes, sit down, Michael. I found out a lot of stuff. And so he's like, okay. And as always, he's just fully sweating. She comes around and he just breaks into a full sweat.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't you?
Yeah. I'm sweating talking about it. And she says, you want to tell me the truth that you embezzled money? I don't think she knows what embezzled means.
She thought it was like some Colombian drug ring or something before. Yeah. Like she doesn't know what that money is about.
Embezzled money means you have an employer that you're taking money from and he doesn't have either.
You're harvesting the American dollar.
That's right. And she goes, you want to tell me the truth that you embezzled money and you're part of a scam and you're part of a big scam and ring? I done know everything. And don't you lie, because it's all here. And you could possibly go to jail tomorrow. You understand this? Let's talk about the drop off, the stack of money. And he goes, it's not about money. What do you mean? Check the chats. And then he explains to her, remember the guy at the airport and that driver and how I had to pay them in the money? And she goes, yeah, I remember that. And he goes, so if you don't understand something, you just ask me so I can explain it. And he says the picture that she's talking about is his Wi-Fi box. He left it in Nigeria before they came to the Ivory Coast. So he was somebody sent him the picture of the Wi-Fi box for the code or whatever. Okay. So then she goes, oh, okay. And then that theory is debunked. So then she goes, you broke the United States law by giving my information and having somebody fucking photocopy it. And then I got the proof. And that's why you could go to jail over here, bitch.
Okay.
Okay.
Does she know that he's not a U.S. citizen? He only has to abide by Nigerian laws. Does she think of U.S. officials are going to care enough to come to Nigeria or have him extradited?
Well, first she said he's broken the United States law, and then she says he's going to go to jail over there, bitch, because she's got the proof that he photocopied her information.
So they're going to extradite him for photocopying
his wife's tax
Yeah,
returns.
I think the US government has bigger fish to fry than caring about Nigerian scammers who are like
I mean,
in a
check my
group
Facebook
chat.
DMs. There's thousands.
Yeah. We got to deal with
Ah.
this group chat. I know we have terrorists and
Right.
opioid epidemic, but we're going to have to deal with these Nigerian scammers. They have a group chat called
And they made fun of a lady. Yeah.
Garden. What was it?
Paradise.
Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah. And he says, I told you I went to the internet cafe with the papers. And she goes, but you gave somebody my tax paper information of 2022, and that has all my information, like my social security number. And that is against the United States law. And he says, do you think I'm a fool? And that I don't know what I'm doing, and that I don't know the importance of social security number and date of birth and all that information? The information that you're talking about, I went to the cafe, I had to make a correction, and I sent it. And I did it for the guy to print in the system. Now she knows exactly what he's talking about. He had to go to an internet cafe to like send some
And
documents.
she knew about that.
And she knew about
you
that.
can tell he's telling the truth because he stutters when he gets really nervous and like gets very flustered, and you can just tell he's lying. He's totally being reasonable and calm here and is making perfect sense.
And explaining all the pictures to her. Again, if you don't know what that is, it's not a picture of money. It's a picture of my Wi-Fi box. Just ask me. So in the talking head, he says, for part of my interview, I needed all of these documents, and I had to put the documents on my phone. So he had to have them like scanned, to put on his phone. And then she goes, well, then you were putting it on a group chat and saying you're making money. And he goes, I'm not making any goddamn money. And she goes, oh, you said goddamn. I mean, she has called him
goddamn one more time. Like she'd every word out of her chain smoking mouth is not filthy.
Yeah, it's awful. And he goes, I'm not getting any money. I'm getting information to help us so I can get the visa so we can be together. And she goes, you always have an answer. I'm so tired of your lies. And he goes, I'm trying for us to be together, and we're all doing the process together. And she goes, you're a scammer and you know it. I called an immigration lawyer, and before you fuck me and my family out of my goddamn hard-earned money I made for 57 years, I'll fucking show you before I can tell you. Your whole chat's fucking scamming, and I'm going to report it to the federal United States government, and your whole team is going down. Look at me. I loved you like no other, but I'm not fucking crying tonight. I've had enough.
I can't. First of all, she says goddamn no less than 30 seconds right after she criticized him.
Right. Mm-hmm.
B, the American entitlement that she thinks she can call the embassy and they're going to send SWAT team over to arrest this man.
If she says United States government, I was like, do you work in the White House? Why do you keep invoking the name of the White House and the government and the
call? She's going to be like, Mike Pence, I have a guy here you need to take care of.
I mean, she's invoking the government so many times. I was like, nobody cares about this. Relax.
No one cares.
Relax. So when she says, I'm not crying tonight, I've had enough. That's when he reaches over the table to grabbing the phone. He's hoping she's disabled her. He hopes her defenses are slowed down because she's old and she's holding a cigarette in one hand.
But again, she dismantled a car last season.
She does have
raw cigarette menopause strength.
She does
have all nicotine of that. Mixes with the nicotine and the menopause.
The menopause hormones that she's taking. Yeah. So she's not, he's not chilling her out, whatever hormone she's taking. So he reaches over to grab the phone, which he should not have done.
No.
But it also didn't work. So it seems like he gets it, or a producer or someone, a PA jumps in to grab it. And then we see the producer yelling, hotel security, we need you. And then we hear Angela yelling, take that phone, get that phone.
They should have a full team of their production company security whenever they're filming with Angela.
Yeah. Or anybody. You never know when shit's going to pop off. John just got a drink thrown in his face over there in Brazil.
That's a great point. There's maybe like two couples that I can think you probably don't need a security team.
Emily and Kobe.
Yeah, sure.
But Nicole and Mahmoud, they need to have somebody standing at the door.
Sure, you're right.
At all times.
You're right. Mm-hmm.
So we hear Angela, get that phone, take that phone, get that phone. And then we see him kind of come towards her aggressively.
That was like a new rap.
Yeah, get that phone. Take
Take
that
that
phone.
phone. Get that phone. Take that phone.
Scam. Wiki. Um, Government. Wiki.
Paradise Boys. Paradise Boys, we out.
Okay, next time on 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After. It's Emily and Kobe's wedding, and the clothes look amazing and it looks fun. And he says it's a great day, but his friends are not supportive and he's sad they aren't there. So they didn't come.
Well, I was hoping you were going to say that you have your spidey sense that it was another Matt Sharp fake out because I was really hoping that they would be there.
Unless it's a talking head beforehand and he says, I would be very sad if they didn't come. But he says, I'm sad they're not here.
But maybe they show up late?
Maybe they show up and they sit in the front row, white, very dramatic style, very
Right.
80s rom-com.
Maybe
They
it's like,
yeah.
does anyone object? I know they probably don't do that in camera room. Does anyone object? And then they walk in and they just sit down and they don't say anything and they nod at Emily and it's like, oh, we thought they were going to object, but they didn't.
And she goes, I just got pregnant yesterday and the baby's name is going to be a Tim. After
they're like,
Valerie.
that sold it. There,
Yeah,
we don't object.
Yeah. Gino tells Jasmine that he recorded some of the other contestants, like for competition purposes to show her. And she's like, what? Why are you doing that? And he goes, so you could see like what your competition is. She goes, what is the purpose of these videos? Masturbating.
Okay, so we already know
Also not wrong.
He has a porn addiction. He's totally going to use. Also, one of my favorite movies, Drop Dead Gorgeous. I don't know if you know it. And there is a gentleman who seems to show up at all of the rehearsals for this teen beauty pageant.
Okay,
and he's
weird.
constantly like trying to film and just being a creeper. He looks like Gino. It's just like, can you imagine being in a beauty pageant and Gino is just there at your rehearsals with a camera?
Oh, okay. I'm a scout. I'm a model scout.
Right.
Meet me at 222 Main Street.
He screams pervert.
Yeah. Now John and Patrick continue this terrible going out to drink situation with Tice's friends. And in the talking head, she says to John, this is one of the reasons you shouldn't be here. And he says, don't cry me a river when they cause trouble and the big bad wolf blows her house down. Okay. I was like, these are two metaphors that don't go, but I like it.
I love it.
I like it. And then she gets mad at Patrick for defending John.
What about her freaking friends?
Her friends are doing too much. Too much. Sophie is saying to Rob, you don't get it. I'm about to move out and you're telling me what I need to do. But instead, you like to be like, what you should be like, what should I do so you don't leave? And he goes, all right, so tell me what I should do so you don't leave. And she goes, well, you should have asked me that already. And then he says, this is an emotional roller coaster. Yeah. And then he says, I love you. That's all I can say. So you don't move out.
And she smiles because that's literally all he has to do.
You're pretty.
Claire is right. She melts. Here's a stick of gum, Sophie. Smile. Like that's the bare minimum.
You look great in that outfit. I love you.
Yeah,
that's all he has to say.
That ass. And then she's like, that's it.
That's it. Just tell me I'm hot.
Does he give her another list? What is she saying? He tells her what to do. Is he give her another to-do list to change herself?
Or he probably is like, what you need to do is not talk to your mother.
Well, that's valid.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then Ashley and her sister are on the phone with that friend of Manuel's, Jonathan. And they go, and their sister goes, hey, Ashley gave Manuel $1,000. Where is that money going? And he goes, I don't know. Maybe he's sending it to his ex-girlfriend.
Jonathan.
And Ashley says, well, now I'm questioning what else I don't know. And she walks into where he's playing Xbox and goes, you have one chance to be honest with me. And he laughs right in her face and goes, I laugh at your ridiculousness.
Yep.
Because that's what he does.
Yep.
Then we go back to Angela and Michael fighting and her saying, give me that phone. It's my phone. Get that phone. And Michael says,
it's my phone. I don't know her.
And he says, I'm not giving you anything. Enough of that. And Angela says, call them all. Call the embassy. Call the government right now. And when she says, call them all, what did you think?
It sounded like all the king's horsemen and all the king's men.
I thought of killed them all, of course.
Killed them all. Bye. It's all, Robert, you're in a Robert Durst state of mind.
I am.
Yeah.
I am.
Again, who does she want to call?
Everybody, call the embassy.
Donald Trump, I voted for you.
Yes.
You owe me. Get on a plane and arrest this man.
Yeah. Call them all. Call the embassy right now. Hello, embassy. This is Angela.
Angela, we've been yeah, how are things?
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
The government is at your ready. What can we do for you at the government? So in the talking head, Michael says, Angela is out of control and this is too much. And we see him trying to get the phone from the production guy and saying, this is my phone. And she's screaming, no, it's not, it's mine. But I got to tell you something. When he's talking to that production guy, he's like, I'm about to fuck you up. Give me my phone back.
Mm-hmm.
He looks real mad.
Yeah.
He doesn't get mad. He has the patience of a saint. He doesn't
really
get
does.
mad.
But you know what? Anyone is going to snap.
We're dealing with that. Yeah, I agree. Oh,
But violence is never okay. I don't like the snatching of the phone.
I didn't like the snatching of the phone. That wasn't good. But you got to think at some point, he's had it. And also, nobody deserves to be in the United States more than Michael.
Yeah.
If this has been his plan for 7 years, be married to her for 2, so that when he comes to the States, he can be a permanent citizen right away. If that's his plan all along, who's to say he's not a genius?
The amount of crow this poor man has had to swallow and eat over the years, he has had to apologize for so many things. He did some really wrong things. Now, why did she again, when she says, how did I let it get to this point? Well, you forgave him for the BJ. You forgave him for leaving that message for that lady when he was leaving that sexy time memo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you've let this back in multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember that. He goes, yeah, I got the BJ for real. Oh my gosh. This was a fun episode to do, even though we really hate these people. And guys, just remember, only a couple more weeks here, and then it's going over to Pink Shade Prime, and we will be covering The Other Way. I did just get that. I was looking at that trailer for The Other Way, and then something happened. I had to turn it off real quick. So I haven't even really had a chance to study it.
I just am several of these couples are already. why do they pick these couples to come back?
Why Shekinah and Sarper? We hate them so much.
That's the most toxic relationship I've seen in a while. And look at these. I can't. She's in the cult of Sarper, and I can't. And then not Patrick, and what are their names? See, I said Patrick because Patrick Dempsey.
Dempsey and Statler.
Yeah.
And then they're
blowing up on social media because she's like saying that
Statler stole all our money
and is driving around in the van that she paid for. And yeah.
Wait. Which one is Statler and which one's Dempsey?
Oh, can't remember. Gonna have.
I can't remember, but I feel like Statler is the American, and Dempsey is the according to her a person who stole all her money.
Yeah, she really says she got like a way good edit and like somehow always acted nice on camera, so she got the best edit, and it was fake. But somehow they kept going on the show.
Yeah. I don't know if anybody just heard my FaceTime call on my computer. It was my daughter wanting to know if I picked up the groceries, which no, I didn't.
I bet she wants to know more about Karen Reed.
She might.
Get me hooked.
I know. You guys go over, listen to Jodine's podcast. It's called Caught in My Web. Just look over there on Patreon. Also, they're going to be doing the live things over there with Katie and Jake. So watch that too.
Yeah.
Also on Patreon, Supercast, Apple subscriptions. Follow all your favorite podcasters. Subscribe to everybody. It's only $5 a month. What are you doing with your life? Thank you, Kimberly. Everybody follow Kimberly and Katie over on @Dateline on the Instagram. Remember to please also follow me. I am over 10,000, but not by a lot. So keep it coming. That's @Pink Shade Pod. And that's it, Gur. I'll talk to you next week. And then pretty soon we'll be talking twice a week.
Yay.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Ads not read by me, Mary Payne, don't necessarily reflect the views of Pink Shade. If you'd like to listen to ad-free, you're going to go on over to Supercast or Patreon, and you can find the links to Pink Shade Prime at pinkshadepodcast.com.